There's never a good time to be fired from your job, but receiving this news when you're on workers' compensation can be devastating on so many levels. Fortunately, there are a number of options and benefits available to you should you be terminated whilst on workers' compensation, which I'll briefly explain. Employers terminating employees purely because they're on workers' compensation is not entirely uncommon, but it is illegal in New South Wales to do so within the first 6 months from your injury. This period is known as the protected period. Even after this period, your employer is obliged to do everything possible in order to get you back to work, including help develop an injury management plan, comply with the obligations of that plan, and provide suitable duties wherever reasonably practical. Failure to adhere to these obligations can result in large fines issued to your employer. If your employer terminates you purely because your doctor continues to certify you as being unfit for work, you'll still be entitled to receive reasonably necessary medical treatment and weekly benefits in accordance with your entitlement period. If you've been terminated whilst on workers' compensation purely because you're unfit to return to work, you certainly have the right to apply for reinstatement once your doctor certifies you as being fit for your pre-injury duties. You can apply to the Industrial Relations Commission for a reinstatement order, so long as this is done within 2 years from the dismissal. If you're terminated purely because you're unfit for work, you have the right to sue your employer if your work injury is the result of your former employer's negligence and your whole person impairment is at least 15%. If you meet this criteria, you can make what is called a work injury damages claim, which is a lump sum payout for past and future loss of earnings and superannuation lost because you've been unable to work or are unable to work into the future. To give you a clearer understanding of your options and entitlements if you're terminated on workers' compensation, let's take a look at a recent example. We represented an injured worker who had lost his job whilst on workers' compensation. After going through his treatment regime, he eventually found himself in an interesting situation. His doctor had certified him as fit for suitable duties, and he was working towards returning to work, but the workers' compensation insurer had denied liability for payments on the basis that, in their view, he was already fit to return to his pre-injury duties. When he approached his former employer for the job back, they denied reinstatement on the basis that he was not fit for work. Obviously, a complicated situation to have to fight, but when we got involved, we pointed out that they can't have it both ways. They either need to reinstate him because he was fit for work, or pay him weekly payments because he was not. It meant that we effectively pushed the fight to the insurer and the employer. Because of the pressure we applied, the insurer ultimately ended up agreeing with the GP who initially certified our client as being fit for suitable duties. They reinstated his weekly payments and continued to support our client's journey back to the workforce. Hopefully, this has been helpful to you. But if you're still unsure of your options if you've been terminated whilst on workers' compensation or need help with your claim, call Law Partners and have a confidential conversation with one of our specialist workers' compensation lawyers today.